So how's that Trump presidency working out for you, Republicans? I mean, just, you know, this is the guy who said on day one, we're going to lower prices. We're going to put the economy back together. Well, we had the best economy in the world when Donald Trump was sworn in. On January 20th of this year, we officially, according to the Economist magazine, had the best economy in the world. We were the envy of the world. We had the lowest inflation rate, the lowest unemployment rate, the highest stock market, the best increase over the last 4 years in workers' pay. Pretty much any index that you want to use to define the health and well-being of an economy, we were right at the top. Trump and the Republicans, of course, lied for 4 years, saying that the economy was in the crapper and Joe Biden didn't know what he was doing. And Joe Biden was such an incompetent communicator that he never bothered to go out and tell the American people about the successes he was having. He just expected everybody to figure it out, and that doesn't work that way. So anyhow, we got Donald Trump. And so what's going on now? Well, the economy is teetering. I mentioned earlier, remember when the Dow was at 45,000, it's down to 41,600 this morning. Consumers are freaking out. Short-term expectations for income, business, and the job market fell 9.6 points to 65.2. That's below the threshold of 80 that signals a potential recession. University of Michigan's survey of consumers plunged 11.9% in just 1 month from February to March. The current reading is at 57.0. It's down 28.2% from a year ago. The S&P is down 5% year to date. The NASDAQ is down 10% year to date. The Dow, as I mentioned, has gone from 45,000 when Biden was president down to 41,000 now. 95% of corporate CFOs say that Trump's policies are impacting their ability to make business decisions. 75% of these are chief financial officers, corporate CFOs, say a recession will hit by next year. 60% say it's going to arrive this year. Tourism is tanking. Flights from Canada are down more than 80%, or passenger loads from Canada. U.S. airline stocks are collapsing as a result of this. Louise, our family does a cruise as a get-together every other year. My brother's in Michigan, and our family, and we do that because it's so convenient. Everybody's in one place. You go to a bunch of places, but you only unpack once, and we can all sit together for dinner. There were 17 of us in March when we went on this vacation. But the consequence of that is that Louise and I are on every cruise line's mailing list. And they are throwing deals out right now. Last minute booking, quack, quack, quack. What does that tell you? I mean, I used to run a travel agency. I used to own one, Louise and I. And so I know this industry really well. I used to do consulting work in the travel industry. I used to do consulting for Carnival Cruise Lines, for American Airlines, for American Express, and trainings for them. And what that tells me, when I start getting all these offers of, $1,000 off, $3,000 off, free airfare, all this stuff, particularly for, for things that are within the short term and the long term, that tells me that the travel industry is suffering right now. The travel industry is experiencing pain. And that tells me that consumers are dialing back on their spending on vacations. Why are they doing that? Because they're expecting a recession, because they're afraid they're going to lose their jobs, or because they just did lose their jobs. I mean, Trump and Musk have already laid off or fired, I believe, over 100,000 people. I haven't seen I'm not sure anybody's keeping an accurate count anywhere. Somebody should. So anyhow, that's happening. This is all, we're talking about, hey, Republicans, how's that thing? How's that, wonderful Trump presidency working out for you? America's Einsteins are fleeing. Now, this is the exact reverse of what we saw in the lead up to World War II. From 1933, when Nazi Germany started their anti-science crusades, when the Nazis started going after scientists and universities, until 1941, when we entered the war. This is from John Naughton in the Guardian, quote, About 2,000 scientists and academics fled Europe's fascist countries, fearing for themselves or Jewish family members. Then universities in the US and UK made space for and welcomed a whole generation of geniuses: Albert Einstein, Enrico Fermi, Leo Salazar, Hans Bethe, Max Born, Rudolf Peierls, Francis Simon, to name just a few. So now the exact opposite is happening. Europe's universities are taking steps to, quote, provide safe spaces for American researchers. You've got, for example, Jason Stanley, who wrote that book on fascism. I think it's called How Fascism Works. He and his family are moving to Canada. You know, we're getting out of town here. And then the Tesla takedown movement is growing too. People are just, furious with, with Elon Musk and what he's doing. I mean, Saturday, day before yesterday, we saw the biggest anti-Tesla march ever. And it was literally happening all over the world. And then finally, Chinese EVs are leaving Tesla in the dust. I mean, remember when this was a couple of years ago when Elon Musk opened his factory in Shanghai. He makes more Teslas in China than he does in the United States, which is why it was crazy that Trump was going to allow the Pentagon to brief him on their war plans with China. But in any case, he was bragging about how the workers in his Shanghai gigafactory said they're willing to burn the 3 a.m. oil, whereas Americans are lazy, right? That was the essence of Elon Musk's message. Well, turns out the Chinese were quite enthusiastic about Elon building that factory there and putting Chinese people to work because they could steal his technology. And they apparently did. These global business geniuses, right, like Elon Musk. So BYD, build your dream. BYD is a car company in China. They opened in 2022, apparently using a lot of technology that was borrowed or stolen from Tesla. And in 2024, they beat Tesla to become the #1 EV maker in the world, with sales topping $100 billion. In February this year, amid a 76% overall surge in EV sales in China, BYD sales surged 160% in China, while Tesla's sales dropped 49%. So, and BYD, BYD is making cheap cars. So, and they just announced a new battery. The BYD started out as a battery manufacturer. They just announced that the next year's cars, or maybe it might be the ones that they're shipping now, will charge. They got a 300 to 400 mile range, and they will charge in 5 minutes. Everybody is raising the voltage of the platforms that they're on. Most electric vehicles, like Teslas, and most of them are on 400 volt platforms. On a 400 volt platform, it takes a couple of hours or an hour anyway to fully charge, even with a high speed charger. My Hyundai is built on an 800 volt frame, which allows it to fully charge or charge to 80% within 18 minutes. BYD is putting them on 1,000 volt frames, and they will charge in 5 minutes. And I'm guessing within 2 years, every car, every electric manufacturer in the country is going to be doing the same. But so that's going on. Also, today is Trans Day of Visibility. There's going to be a rally in Washington, D.C. today between 4 and 6 p.m. More than a dozen members of Congress are planning on attending. That's good news. And, of course, Saturday's Hands Off. It's going to be huge. 83 organizations have formed a coalition, are participating in this. In Michigan, Democratic Senator Chris Murphy, Democratic Representative Maxwell Frost, who I think is from Florida, and Michigan AD Dana Nessel hosted a town hall. Maybe Maxwell Frost is from, I'm not sure where he's from. Anyway, this was in the district of Republican Representative John James. And they all were shouting, "Where are you?" And then in Louisiana, the Republican Governor Jeff Landry had 4 amendments to the Louisiana Constitution on the ballot. One calling for cutting education funding, one calling for more tax breaks for rich people, a couple of other terrible proposals. None of them got anything more than 37% of the vote. And the Signalgate scandal is deepening as well. More and more people are coming out and saying, You know, Hegseth lied, first off, just clearly and obviously lied. And Mike Walz, the former congressman from Florida, who's Trump's security guy, seems to be completely out of his depth. All of these guys. I mean, this is a clown show. This is the Three Stooges. Only it's like 8 or there's 19 of them, I guess. So how's that Trump presidency working out for you, Republicans?